Hello, World Tank Blitzers. It's Littlefinger. Happy Friday, January 13th. Time for a store review, and I apologize. This video might not make it up until Saturday morning, and that is because the power has been out at my house nearly 24 hours with all of those storms that rolled through Georgia yesterday. We had some extremely high winds, knocked a tree into the power lines, and it has just now been fixed. As a matter of fact, Wi-Fi is still out, and I am streaming through my hotspot at the moment on my phone. But as we approach the middle of the month, we need to talk about the Battle Pass, which is Hasta La Vista Terminator theme here. We've got the Cyborg skin on the M6. Already seen this tank once in a Battle Pass with the Magnus, and now we've got it as a Cyborg. And I can't be too harsh on it. M6 is one of the best tanks at tier 6. 8 battles in, over 18,000 average damage in this tank. It really does play well if you don't mind playing tier 6. Now, problem I have with recommending the Battle Pass halfway through the month is because you're going to get 3,000 gold for $5. That's not horrible. You know, it works out to be about 600 gold per dollar, but you get so much other with the silver, free XP, 5x boosters, your premium time. But the problem is you've really got to make sure that you've got enough time to fill out these vault, especially the gold vault, which is 2,000 of your 3,000 gold is coming from this right here. And obviously you've got to get those victories in order to fill it up. So if you're not going to be able to play enough games to fill this up, I'm not recommending the Battle Pass. And at this point, you probably need to go ahead and get the license, which is an additional $3, and that opens up multiple weeks of the missions so that you can complete them quicker. You can get up to the top here. You see level 59 is where you max out the storage size of the gold there. And from there, once you've unlocked that, then you can fill it all the way up. So just keep that in mind if you're looking at purchasing the Battle Pass. So into the store we go. We've got the WZ114 containers. $5 for 2, 16,000 gold for 12, 4,000 gold for 3. 24% chance of getting gold out of one of these containers, a 6% chance of getting the camouflage, and only a 4% chance of getting the tank. You're going to need 30 charms in order to guarantee yourself the tank. And of course, we've got some boosters and some 5x, 4x, and whatnot. But about this tank, I'm seeing kind of conflicting data on it right now. Blitz stars and Blitz Hanger have a little bit confusing stats on it, especially in terms of the aim time and the gun dispersion. Both showing it at 1.83 seconds aim time and right at 0.3 dispersion. So I'm going to go with what is on the Blitz here and say those numbers are certainly not great, but they are fitting more with the type of tank this is, which is a tier 9 Chinese heavy tank, and you're doing 470 average damage. Now the downside is you're only doing 1,900 damage per minute, and from what I can tell, you've got some nice turret armor. You've got some nice spaced armor on the sides, but I believe that the speed on this is not great, 32 kilometers per hour. So it's a pretty slow, heavy tank. You do have 9 degrees of gun depression. It'll be interesting to see how this plays, but I don't think it's worth gambling a lot to get this in crates, quite honestly. All right, so we do have some free stuff, and I think both of these orders here are for you to play realistic. I guess they're trying to get a few more people playing realistic this time when it comes out. So, you know, it's basically get, well, let's just go ahead and claim it and see what it says. I haven't even looked at it, to be honest with you, but I think it's probably a certain number of victories or something in order to get the camo that you saw there. Also, the Object 244 is for sale for these coins, I guess you call them. Tier 6 tank, essentially it is free just by completing enough missions. And I do have enough, so I'll go ahead and purchase that, of course. So let me just real quick while we're here. All right, so here is the order here. Looks like 20 victories within 3 days. We're going to get some camos and 7 3x boosters out of it. So I'm not sure to recommend opening both of these at the same time. If they're both for victories, then I guess overlapping them would be a good thing. So yeah, I was going to go to the missions and show you here. So by completing the missions, you're going to get these coins here that you can then turn in and get the tank that we were talking about, wherever it went. Where am I? All right, guys, we're back in the store. I got a little disoriented there because when I went back in, I thought I was going to find the order that I didn't choose. Looks like it went away. So let's choose either or, I think. And so here's the Object 244 with the 50 coins for that free tank, just for completing missions. So nice little deal there. Moving on down, we'll talk about the tanks when we get to the tank section. Here is your extended pass, $20. It's going to, I believe, get you 20 levels unlocked at once. The premium pass is $5, gets you the 2 bottom rows there, and then the license allows you to unlock multiple weeks at a time for being able to complete those missions faster. Skip over anything here in the resource section, nothing good there. So let's talk tanks. We've got the first bundle here, Universal Platoon, T-25 Pilot Tier 8 American Medium Tank, and then the Tier 7 T-26 E3 Eagle 7. Both of these tanks, typical American playstyle. They don't do anything exceptionally well. They don't do anything exceptionally bad either. They're just middle of the road, pretty good at everything. And I think that kind of encapsulates the American tanks all around in the game. T-25 Pilot's got some good mobility, decent gun accuracy. I believe it's fairly low on the damage per shot, but that mobility helps out with getting around the map. 7,000 gold for both of these tanks is a solid deal in my opinion. However, I would only recommend this for those of you that are more on the tank collector sides. Certainly don't expect to get OP tanks here. They're definitely not top of their tier when it comes to premium tanks at each of these tiers. So just keep that in mind, but the price is very good, and you're getting 2 decent tanks out of it. Object 907, one of my favorite tier 10 medium tanks. Let's take a look at it. So you've got this nice rounded turret here. It does end up being able to bounce a few shots for a medium tank. It's got some good mobility and nice damage per minute numbers, and 310 average damage. Here's your aim time, 3.6 dispersion, 0.27. So I do enjoy this tank. I feel like it's got some good mobility to it. 7 degrees of gun depression, 60 kilometers per hour there as its top speed. However, 22,500 gold is extremely steep, as is, what was it, $35. So early investor pricing still on this tank. Let's wait 3-6 months on it, and we'll see that price come down for sure. Now, one of the intriguing bundles here. And this bundle certainly is not for everyone, so I'm going to run through it, let you know what tanks you get and who I think that this bundle is for. So you've got the Lova, the Tier 8 German heavy tank. Weak plate right here, but it's pretty narrow. So if you're moving and if you're wiggling, it can be difficult to hit. However, if you start to over angle this tank, even to an angle almost like this side does become very pennable. However, the tank has one of the best credit coefficients in the game. So you can certainly make some good money in this tank. T-34, American heavy tank, 10 degrees of gun depression with a super strong turret. Just make sure you don't show the sides. Use that 10 degrees of gun depression, hide the rest of the tank behind a hill or something, and you've really start to learn that hold down play style with this tank. And then finally, just an all-around decent heavy tank is the IS-6. The gun's going to troll you a little bit, as will the T-34. Got some nice spaced armor on it. I do find it a little bit difficult to hide some of the weak spots, because if you angle off the front here, you're going to be pinnable here. If you're too far in the front, the lower plate, upper plate are pinnable as well. Used to be one of the more iconic tanks with the premium matchmaking. Never saw tier. It used to come out with the +2, -2, so, and it never saw that tier 10. So anyway, what I like here is that you're getting 3 tier 8 tanks for the price of one, essentially. And you know, this is for the newer players, in my opinion, that are looking to grind credits. Don't expect, again, to get top of the line tanks at this tier. These are not OP tanks in any way, but they are all very solid, and they will certainly grind you credits. Moving on to the T15 PZ2J. This is, you know, one of those bundles that we see, $4 is going to net you about 2,000 gold if you sell the tanks. But the PZ2J here is kind of like the mouse at tier 3. It has super armor, 80 millimeters for a tier 3 tank. So it doesn't have great pen, and it certainly has horrible mobility. 31 kilometers per hour as its top speed. So you might actually enjoy this tank and just want to keep it and you know, play it for the laughs from time to time. Super Purging for 5,500 gold. I'm not a huge fan of the tank, but people can play this extremely well. If you can see here, this plate at the front is spaced armor. So it can be very difficult, as is the plate around the front there. So people that play this tank really well, you can hide the weak spots on this tank. I just don't like it from the perspective that it has some poor mobility. 40 kilometers per hour is on the low side for a medium tank. 10 degrees of gun depression, standard American numbers there. 5,500 gold, 30 days of premium, 500,000 silver. It does have the attachment in the camo, and the 5Xs are only for the tank. So good price. Again, certainly not a top tier tank, but a good tank nonetheless. I think we talked about the VKs last week, so not going to spend a lot of time on them. It's hard to recommend this 16801 just because the VK 100 is very similar, but the tier 7 VK 4503 does play real well right now with the meta as a heavy tank with some good armor and certainly an extremely accurate gun as well. So for 3,500 gold, would certainly recommend that if you're into collecting tanks. The Badger's now down to 20,000 gold. You know, like we saw with the Object 907 there at 22.5. This will come down, so you just have to be patient. But I would say the Badger should be 17,000, 15,000, somewhere in there. The 5X boosters are only for this tank. Yes, it does have the attachment and the camo. But the Badger, you know, it has okay mobility for a tank of this type, but it is still team dependent. But the armor on it is spectacular, as is the damage per minute number here, 3,800. So if you can get this tank in the right spot, you're going to get some big damage games. And the Krupp 38D 2000 gold, I think that's a little bit too expensive for a tier 5, but it's probably a tank that you're not going to play too often. But you're going to get the 5x boosters, 10 of them, to play on any tank, so that is an added bonus. But again, you play this for a little bit, you're probably going to forget about it in a month. Camos are going to be here forever. Let's not spend too much time talking on them. If you want to buy a tank, the best way to do it is first buying gold. Starts with 750 gold per dollar here, 720, 700. It works its way down a little bit. So just make sure that you're getting the 2x there. All right, guys, that puts us back into the container section. You'll see a few more different options for the WZ114. But again, not worth gambling for this tank, I don't think, especially at tier 9. And that's going to wrap it. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. And of course, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.